Hi, thanks for tuning in. For this week's video, I'll be sharing with you my everyday makeup routine using cruelty-free vegan drugstore products. If you are looking for ways to live a life that is friendlier to animals, swapping out your personal care products for cruelty-free vegan options is fairly pain-free and is a great place to start. I'm hoping that you'll find some value out of this video and will be introduced to some new products or brands that you'd be willing to try. So thank you so much for watching, and let's get into the tutorial. Here I am, barefaced for the world to see. I've already put on some sunscreen and I'm about to put on some moisturizer. I used to use a product that was 2-in-1, but it kept going on back order, so I just separated the products. So I've put on some of this no-ad SPF 50 Sport sunscreen, and I let it sit in for a couple of minutes. And then for my moisturizer, I like this Jason Age Renewal Moisturizing Cream. I'm going to put this on all over my face and neck, and then I'll let this sit in for a couple of minutes as well. While I'm waiting for my moisturizer to sit for a couple of minutes, I will put on a coat of mascara, and I use Wet n Wild MegaVolume, and I think it's only $3, so it's a really good deal, and I think the stuff works great. I've been using it for a couple of years. One thing that you have to be careful about with personal care products like makeup is that beeswax is often an ingredient in makeup. So a lot of mascaras tend to have beeswax in them. If you're buying from a cruelty-free company, it doesn't always mean that the products are vegan. So that's one thing to watch out for. Alright, next I am going to fill in my eyebrows. And funny story about my eyebrows, I used to be really self-conscious about them because I have very thick hair and I always felt like I had just too much eyebrow going on. But now the trend is really, really bold eyebrows, and now I'm like, should I fill them in? So now I put in a little bit just to kind of fill in the sparser areas and just to make them a little bit more defined, but I don't go crazy with them. So like I have some sparseness right here, so I just do some upward strokes, and I line the bottom just a bit, and then I fill in just a tiny bit. So nothing crazy. That's the difference. The product I'm using is called Milani Stay Put Brow Color, and this is in shade 4 Brunette, and it's kind of in this little pot. I like this stuff a lot. I used to use something that came in a tube and what you kind of put on sort of with a mascara wand, but I think this looks a lot more natural, and I like the way it applies a lot better. Alright, brows are done. I'm gonna move on to foundation. I really, really like this foundation. I started using this about a year ago, and I am hooked. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in Golden Beige, and I've heard that this is comparable to some of the higher end foundations. I've never used Estee Lauder products, but I've heard that one of the foundations is very similar to this product. It's got a nice coverage, and I feel like it does a great job of staying all day. The one thing that I would maybe say is something I don't like is that it does have a bit of an odor to it, but once it's put on, you don't really notice it too much. Wet n Wild is one of my favorite brands because they are so focused on doing things to help animals. They have a program right now called Wands for Wildlife. So if you purchase any of their mascaras from them, they'll send you a return label that allows you to send the wand from your mascara back to them. And what they do is they donate these to a wildlife rehabilitation group, and they use them for their wildlife rehabbing. I will link a video or some information about the program in the description box so that you can read a little bit more about it. I even put a little bit on my ears just to make sure things are really, really blended. Of course, I go down my neck a little. And then I always wait to the very end when I have just a tiny bit of product on the sponge to do my eyelids because they crease really easily. So if I end up with too much product on the sponge, it looks crazy after I'm done. And I usually kind of wipe off my eyelids just for good measure. This is an EcoTools sponge, and I will link this in the description box, but I used to only put my foundation and concealer on with my hands, but then I was like, oh, it's kind of nice not to get makeup all over your house because you have it on your hands if you didn't wash it off properly. So I started using the sponges, and it takes a little bit more time to get them clean, but it's really not that bad. I always put a little bit of concealer around my nose and around my lips as well, just because I get some discoloration. And the concealer that I'm using is the Wet n Wild Photo Finish in light medium beige. This stuff is good. I really like this. It goes on really lightly, and one thing I like about it is that I feel like it doesn't settle into creases around my eyes. So A+ for that. I'm gonna wait for a minute or so for this to sit because I feel like this thickens up a little bit and covers some of the redness in my face and the dark circles under my eyes better if it sits for a minute. While I'm waiting for my concealer to sit, I will curl my eyelashes. And I was just taking a look at my eyelash curler, and I don't see a name on this, so I'm not sure where I've gotten it from, but either way, you can get these most places, drugstores, online. So I'll just hold this down for a few seconds. This just helps with making the eyes look bigger, making me look more awake. Okay. Go ahead and blend my concealer in. Now if you're watching me and you're thinking, some of my techniques are a little sketch, you're probably right. I certainly don't consider myself a makeup or a beauty expert, so this is just what I do every day. And it works okay. Okay, next we are going in with eyeliner, and I will be using the Milani Eye Tech Extreme Liquid Eyeliner in Blackest Black. So depending on the day and how much time I have, sometimes my eyeliner looks really nice and sometimes it looks not so nice. I do just the tiniest little bit of tail on the end. I generally don't go all the way to the corner of my eye. I don't know why, I just think it looks better on me that way. I think it depends on your eye shape. And now for the dreaded left eye. It's always a lot easier to get to my right eye, so that one tends to end up looking a lot better. One thing I like to do when I'm having trouble with keeping a steady hand if I'm not on my eyeliner game for the day is I kind of play connect the dots. So I'll just sort of like touch this in the places that I want it to go. Because if I'm having trouble keeping a steady hand to draw it, having the dots helps, you know, I don't have to keep a steady hand except for like a second that I'm touching my eyelid. Alright, that looks pretty close to me in terms of thickness on both my right and left eye. So next we have to finish up the eyelashes. You may think I'm crazy for doing this, but I pretty much wear fake lashes every day because I discovered the most amazing invention on the planet Earth for makeup, at least in my opinion. I started using these magnetic lashes from Ardell. I think they're about $8 to $10, and they just made things so much faster and easier. So I started using these almost every day. Sometimes I don't wear makeup at all, but on the days that I wear makeup, I will put on the magnetic lashes because they look good every single day. I don't know if it's just me, but I would sometimes have what I would call a bad eyelash day, like I had a bad hair day where things were just like all over the place and they didn't look very nice, or they didn't look how I wanted them to look. So these are guaranteed to look great every single day. So each eye has 2 strips, so this is 2 of the strips, and one goes above your lashes and one goes below, and so your natural lashes are in between. So that's why I use a coat of mascara and I curl my eyelashes to help blend my natural lashes with the false lashes. So now I'm going to take a look and see here. I think this is my left eye. And what I like to do, because these tend, I don't know why, but they tend to straighten out. Even though I've been wearing this particular pair for a few weeks, I always spend a little bit of time bending these so that they conform to the shape of my eye better. And then I set down the top layer first. And it's really important, I think, to make sure that the top lash line is really conformed to your eye. So if it's off a little bit, once you put the bottom lash set on, things tend to go, a little crazy. All right, so I recommend putting the bottom strip on with 2 hands because it is easier in my opinion. And you just kind of wait for them to grip, and that's like instant glam for your eyes. One thing you kind of have to be careful of is that occasionally you'll get the lash line a little bit too far from your natural lash line, and so you can kind of see that it's pulled away. So I always kind of double check just to make sure things are looking normal. Right eye. See, they're so easy. All right, next I'm gonna be doing some highlighter, and as you can see, this is very well loved. This is Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in Golden Flower Crown, and it has, the name suggests, a very nice golden color. And I usually put this on with my hands. So I put a little bit in the corner of my eye, and then I highlight my brow bone just a little bit. Before I put highlighter on my cheeks, I will put on some powder, and I use the Milani loose powder in Translucent Banana. So it's shade number 3. And this has a kind of a slider in it, so you can put more or less product, or dispense more or less product depending on how much you're needing. So I usually just take the cap and put a little in here. And then I use this fluffy blush brush from Wet n Wild. It doesn't have a number on it, but I'll link the product in the description box for the video. For applying my highlighter to my cheeks, I use the same brush that I use for my powder, so I just sort of take the side of the brush and then use that for my cheeks. Most days I just put on some lip balm because it's easy and I like something that has an SPF in it. But if I put on anything a little fancier, I typically go with this Hard Candy Plumping Serum, and I use the color Nude Beach. I will tell you, I don't think this does anything to help plump your lips, but it's still a nice color. And for me, it's kind of a nice nude color. It's got some flecks of gold in it, you can kind of see maybe. So anyways, most days, again, I just use lip balm, but this stuff is nice for a little change, or if you want something a little fancier. Alright, this is the final look. On a given day, this typically takes me 7 or 8 minutes to do. I hope this video was helpful and informative, and if you would like some more information on tools that you can use to search whether or not a company is cruelty-free, I'll leave some links in the description box for apps and websites that you can use when you're at the drugstore or when you are surfing the web for new beauty products. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and you can even hit the bell icon to receive notifications for future uploads. Thanks again, and have a great day.